hello, how everybody doing on this lovely weekend of this month of awareness? And we like to start off always with a, do you care about your self-care? Yes, I do. All right, next to me is your lovely host, Amy, and myself, your host, Easy. And we are talking, because we're all adults today. I don't see any adolescents out there. And for any adolescents that are listening, please get your parents. Today we're talking about sex. Although the awareness upon sex is upon the HIV, AIDS, STDs, and STIs, etc. For this podcast special of awareness for this month of October. Hey, Amy, you wouldn't mind reading that?
No. Okay. People think that we are safe out of ignorance because these sexual rival vicious transmitted diseases, unfortunately, events that happen to children or adults, victims through heinous, hurtful individuals that are carriers.
That may or may not know that they are carriers, pass these diseases on. Most people live in denial because it's easier to live not caring than to care knowing you may possibly be unalive. It's not caught on if not caught on time or depending on the stages of the situation.
Sex.
Yes. What is it?
What is it?
So like, most of us know about the birds and the bees. Some of us know it firsthand through situations in life as children, having our parents explain it to us a lot earlier due to certain circumstances that cause us for diapers to come in. And I'm only speaking upon my own situation growing up as a child. Some people went through situations where sex was introduced early about sexual transmitted diseases, finding out situations that happened in the household with certain siblings or aunts, uncles, etc. It's a lot about sex that we need to be alert of as parents to properly inform our children. Not saying outside sources aren't good enough. It's, am I the right person? You know? Yeah. Am I the right person to be talking to your child about sex? And should you be the person listening to us or having the information and relaying it to your child? What do you say on that?
Well, I mean, I think that as far as sex goes, I think that it could start in the house, outside of the house, but we can go on a whole nother topic and be like, some people are, they learn about sex not the right way through, and they still have to be aware of the diseases that could come with that, whether they're doing it consensually or not consensually. Mm-hmm. Because I'm sure we have a lot of victims out there that, sex wasn't consensual and they didn't know about the sexual diseases that could come with it. So I think it depends on where and what is going on who's to make someone
say anything
about sex. I mean, that person knows, and sometimes if it's a little kid, it could be a parent. Sometimes you're not safe to go to your parents, or you're not comfortable to go to your parents. So
parents may not know how to say it to you, right? Mm-hmm. But let's jump into the audience with the questions, other than just spewing out topics and understandings.
All right.
Splurge.
Is there a plan to end HIV/AIDS globally? If there was.
No, that was, yes.
If there was a plan to end HIV or AIDS globally, would you support it? Why and how?
I would say that AIDS is hi, I'm Nella. I would say that AIDS is a man-made disease. It's man-made, and then just like the coronavirus, if there's a plan to end it, I'm not sure, because AIDS epidemic was an agenda. So I don't know much of a plan to end the AIDS epidemic.
That's a good
But if
response.
there was one, would you support it?
Yes, I would.
You would.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else?
Erica?
I believe there already is a plan in place. Everybody has to take responsibility for their actions. That's the best thing that you can do. So you don't have to wait for a plan to be in place. You just got to be proactive with the things you're doing. If, like, not for non-consensual people. Mm-hmm. For people who are actively choosing to have sex and actively choosing to engage in risky behaviors that may spread or transmit the disease. I think that's where everybody needs to take personal responsibility. You can't just say, "Oh, everybody, we're gonna have a plan for HIV," and nobody.
Yeah, it's individual.
You know?
I agree
So
with that.
there is a plan. There is an actual plan. It's just nobody's utilizing. Well, not everybody is utilizing the plan that's in place. Which
I think the plan starts with them themselves.
Yeah,
you know,
and
they
how to
have
inform
plan
that
first.
information. But like you said, they have to be active, have to be proactive, and a proactive person is informed on what it is that they're being active on, expressing to others.
And also proactivity comes with using contraceptives, protection. So that's part of proactivity also.
Yes.
So, when you had to talk about the birds or the bees, or when the birds and the bees were talked about to you, how old were you, and what was said, and what caused the discussion?
Nella here. I wasn't spoken to about the birds and the bees. My mother said, "Do not have sex before marriage. Don't have sex before marriage. Don't get have kids out of wedlock." And that's all she said to me.
There you go. So when you heard about, let's not say the birds and the bees, let's just say about sex.
You ain't questioning her? Why you want me to just get married?
You know, what
She
No,
said.
never question your parents.
She said. My mom said having kids out of wedlock, they're not blessed. And also, I was in sex ed in school. She wrote a letter, nature versus nurture, and she took me out of sex education classes in school in America here.
Yes. So when you first found out about sex, how old were you?
I knew about sex, but my first whatever, I was 18.
Okay.
I was engaged.
Oh, all right. So you basically just found out on your own.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Anyone else?
We'll take at least 2, maybe 3 people.
No? No one's ever had sex out there, huh?
Wow.
Children.
Now I'm going to have to talk
No
about
wonder
the
we
birds
all
and the
here, and they
bees to
stop.
all of you out there.
We all here, Dr. Moody. I have some problems, man. What's the problem? See, let's try that. Let's ask that question again. When you had to talk about the birds and the bees, how old were you, and what was said, and what caused the discussion?
I was 18 and I was pregnant. No, I was 19 and pregnant. And my uncle, he wanted me to be an astronaut for some reason.
An astronaut.
He was crazy.
I can see that with the Eric, go stand up.
He was crazy. I wanted to be a lawyer, and he wanted me to be an astronaut. And I somehow managed to get pregnant. And he decided to bring up the contraceptive, and he went down the whole list of all these things. The dental dam. Sir, I'm pregnant. I am pregnant. I don't know why you think to this. Yeah,
After the fact.
And then he decided to tell me how men only want one. Sir, it's too late. I found out what they wanted. You should have spoke to
So
me.
no one, when they were like younger, like, because sex doesn't always
No.
have to be just
I'll
intercourse.
go, cause I think that's fine. I don't mind. For me,
The birds and the bees was spoken about real early. Because I lived in a sexually active area. Living in the projects was not one of the best places you wanted to live in. Although it had its beauty about it as well. It just wasn't safe at certain times in a certain areas. So I learned to not be in the back staircase because there was people back there that'll rape you. I had a childhood friend. She was damaged from somebody mutilating her, and she's unable to have children. And my older sister, like I said, dealing with DIFUS. I was 6 years old, and I had to also have to talk with DIFUS about sex and also about sexual transmitted diseases, symptoms, what somebody can possibly be going through not knowing that they have a sexual transmitted disease, some signs and how they be moving as far as body language, real early at the age of 6, and it was not really something that I wanted to hear. It really was not. But it was informative. did it scare me a little bit? Yes, knowing that there's diseases out there.
And how
that
old are you?
I'm 34 now.
No, how old were you?
I was 6.
Not now. He's.
I was 6.
Wow.
I was 6 years old, and it, like I said, it was a confusing conversation, but it was understanding, knowing that babies are made this way. If you're with your partner and you both get yourself checked at a doctor, and if this is something that you're intending on doing with a person, go get checked. There's nothing wrong with just saying, hey, you seem like the right person that I might want to do this with. Be direct with your intentions, and also keep yourself safe, because if you keeping yourself safe is keeping the other person safe. That's all.
Absolutely.
Can I just say something and adding with the meeting on was that Thursday?
Sure.
We were talking about.
Sure.
We were talking about. One of the directors was saying how his first date with his friend was going to the doctor.
Yeah.
Like if you were really serious about the person, I feel like we need to really bring the light to the issue, because what happened is, like, a lot of us didn't have that talk. And the mom and the dad maybe just say don't do it, and they didn't really explain to us like why not to do it. So I just wish you would just inform us like more of protecting ourselves. And if you feel like you want to protect yourself, it's okay to say, if you want to take it to the next step, let's go to the doctor, and the person that you're interested in. If they don't want to do it, that's a red flag right there. I mean, I feel, especially if they really care about you.
That's just like.
So, right.
Yeah, I don't know. My birds and bees talk was a little happy one.
Hey.
It wasn't so, pressuring.
Yeah.
Should I expand on it?
Go ahead. You got our attention. Everybody looking.
So I was probably, I was a little old, I guess, for everybody else. I was probably I'm going to say maybe 14 when I actually had the talk with my grandmother. My mom had passed, and it was kind of like what you were saying, it was don't get pregnant, don't have, but she made it the nicer way of saying that, saying when two people love each other, they come together, and it's not supposed to be a force thing, or it's not supposed to be a pressure thing, or, so mine was kind of my grandmother said that, when two people. Well, my mom always told me, because I'd always be like, where did I come from, Mommy? And she'd be like, I picked you from the sky, and for the longest time, I picked you
from the sky.
I was like, really, from the sky? And, she had this whole story that she fought with another lady about me and the other. I was like, Mom, that's enough now. As I
She
got
tried
older.
to say,
yeah, someone wanted you in, but
Solomon
I got
was
you.
there.
So, but mine was a happy talk, and I did. My first experience, I was I think I was turning 17, and it was that wannabe romantic at the time, and it was a good first experience. It wasn't in the backseat of a car or anything like that, but yeah, my birds and bees talk was kind of good. It was more two people come together, they love each other. It may not work out forever, but you wanted to, you think it's gonna, but wasn't a bad experience. That's what I think. There's a lot of pressure with talking about the birds and the bees.
I think it's really just your parents talking to you about it. It was
yeah, it's a little weird. It is. I was in full. I told my grandmother, and I was already, I think I was married, and I was 38, and I was like, I didn't have sex yet, and she's like, what? But it's a weird topic to talk about with parents. But I think if you ease into it, and it's not such a don't have sex, or you don't make it such a big deal. I think kids are more receptive to hearing the positive than the negative. Hopefully that their first experience is not traumatic, or it's always traumatic though.
Some parents believe that if they scare their child into it, it'll keep them from doing it, or some moms oh, instead of me being mad at her having a boyfriend, let me embrace it, because then she'll change her mind about it on her own.
I think the most important thing about sex in general is the safety. On trying to teach the kids the safety, because kids are gonna some kids don't touch the stove, they're gonna touch it. Some kids will listen, oh my God, fire comes out of there. I'm not going to touch it. But it's the safety and the awareness of the diseases, not only HIV, you know, chlamydia, hepatitis, whatever. I think that if we educate our children, especially in today's world, there's all different, you know, what they identify as, no matter what it is. I think it's about the safety.
And the reason why we should also keeping upon the safety for the children, because one of the things that that doctor had spoke on, he was saying how with the statistics and for the age group, it's not too many people in an older group that's passing around sexual transmitted diseases. It's the younger generation. Because they're having unprotected sex because they believe that they're just naturally safe. Or like, I'm just going to do it. It's going to be real quick. Or, you know, I'll stick it in and pull out. And you go in and you don't come back out. You know, for a while. But in the end, it's most importantly, like, for the young and the youth, for everyone, period. Just generalization, everyone. Just be safe. You're not gonna miss out on no friction much if you just use a condom. You know.
Go ahead.
Cut the light on. We gotta talk it.
Human being, you meet a gentleman, you meet a lady. The next 1 week you meet them. Oh, love, love, love. Oh, the second week, oh, love. 3 week, we think we're gonna have sex. You know, time we have sex and we use no condom, but we promise faithfully that we're gonna use the condom. When we have the sex and we get the infection, we don't know, because I see I'm gonna use condom. I'm gonna use condom. And when you reach the point to use the condom, we don't remember a word about it.
Yeah, you're like, condom, what's that?
Sometimes you be in a rush. It'd be to spare the moment. But even in that, still should at least go get checked. Or most importantly, I'm not saying that is right. And even for myself as a dude, you know, if I was interested in this girl, like I am right now, I have somebody I'm talking to. If she was to be
Easy,
like,
you
oh,
don't have to say that on TV about me.
oh, you is hilarious. I like that though. But my friend that I'm talking to, she was to be like, hey, come see me, you know, and I'll go see her. I'm bringing protection, you know, and it's not even just out of the fact I'm going over there to do that. I'm just bringing the protection because I know the chances of that happening is high. You know, it's very high because we're already showing each other interest. We're already like talking, and the conversation has gone there a couple times, but we've already been talking fluently for X amount of time. Yeah. So this is something that I already know is building up. So as it's building up, and I know from the experience of all the past, I know to bring it with me. And even though I'm going to bring it with me, I'm going to go get tested too.
Well, absolutely. And I don't think it's all on the guy anymore. I think the girl has the responsibility too. Just like, you know, back in the day, it was the guy would say to the girl, oh, you got pregnant. Well, no, you played a role in that too.
Yeah, I got you pregnant.
Exactly. It wasn't just the girl. It was both of you guys not practicing safe sex or whatever the case may be. But I think it's on both parties to worry about the safeness of your body. It's not.
You had to reach down there and put it in a couple times and felt the difference. I'm just saying for some situations. I'm saying
I would never leave my health in your hands, or in anyone's hands. You know, because it's my responsibility to worry about my body. You know, and. You should absolutely have my back and want to worry about your body too and our bodies together. So if everyone really just was honest and it wasn't such a let's not talk about, because you could look at someone and the stigma is not there. You know, like you could be like, oh, the girl's dirty. She has a disease and she'd be the cleanest girl around. You could see a clean girl and she could be the dirtiest girl
Go
around.
in there and be like, I got the Batman forever.
So I think it's everyone's personal responsibility. And I don't know what the Batman is, but it's personal responsibility to be safe. Safe sex and no Batman and Robin.
The Batman forever. Oh, man. Yeah, let's jump into this last question. We'll tell you what Batman forever is later. Okay. Actually, we're talking about it. Well, for the last question, beautiful audience, I know you'll be able to jump in on this one. If you met someone and this person was everything in your truth, the one for you, and you finally had sex, and now you're sickly, you tested positive, what are you doing? What? I'm gonna edit that out.
Yeah, we're gonna be editing.
I'm gonna edit that out. I'm gonna ask the question again this time with no.
Maybe I'll ask
no,
that.
Yeah, you ask it.
If you met someone and this person was everything in your truth, the one for you, and you finally had sex, and now you're sickly, you tested positive, what are you going to do about the situation? How would you handle it?
I can't imagine that happening.
I think you gotta process the emotions. I mean, it's a health issue, so you're gonna go through a series of phases. I'm assuming the first one will be denial and grief, and then there's gonna be some anger because So I mean, at that point, I think the person needs to be addressed because Sarah, why'd you give me this? But yeah, that's what I would do. If it was me, I would cry for a couple days, and then I would
go to the doctor.
I mean, I already got one to the doctor to find out I got it.
Now you got to go for your, your checkups and how you're gonna handle it.
Right. Somebody going to jail though.
Okay. Anybody else? How would they handle it? If it
What I think about things like those, you don't bite. If you was to bite, you won't look at that shop none at all. Things that reach us, we don't bite. I think how to deal with it, that's my opinion. I think how to deal with, you have it already. You're not going to go in the dark and bawl every day and say, I have AIDS, I'm going to die, I want to die tomorrow. You have to just be firm and strong. You have it. It's like you have a disable. You go crazy and you get to where you're crazy. And you save it. It's there. Because you can get up and the universe heal you when you don't have that AIDS anymore. You're going to feel dark because people look down on you. Who is the hell is people? Anything they want to say, shit, they say it. Because everybody have an ugliness inside eating their stomach out. There are demons that come up. But just because I have AIDS over here, you're going to put my AIDS on the table like, oh, you was AIDS. Oh, please.
You're right. Thank you, Martika. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. Anyone else want to expand on that?
You're gonna need that. Right. Once you get that resolved and process it, even if you don't go to church, you need to go speak with someone.
Counselor or something.
You need counseling from
a higher power.
Pastor,
very true,
a doctor. You will need some counseling.
So how would you deal with that, Easy? Let's see about you and your Batman.
Well, if I had the Batman forever, I would be going Holy Busted Metals Batman. I would, first off, I would look for a support team. And after acquiring my support team, I would listen to them and how they've gone through it. And I would stick to it because that's going to keep me from bouncing back into a dark age in my mind upon myself. Like Tika said, worrying about what other people think when they look at me, or could I go to another person and do this again if I don't want to be with that person and I'm going through the procedures of fixing myself. All of that will be on my mind. But one of the things that like I said, I would get a support team because as I was at the meeting, that spurred a good amount of these questions was having a support team when these situations happen. It's very key that the individual who is undergoing these circumstances stick to what is being said from that support team because it helps them further throughout the process. It helps them get to a better understanding, even if the situation isn't reversible. It's always best to have people by your side all the way through the ride. And
what is the plan to end HIV if there is one? What is it?
Well, he never really disclosed that in the meeting. I don't think I remember. Oh man, I wish I caught that part because I probably still writing. Dang.
He was saying, far as just using the condoms and really abstinence, not to do it at all, to be honest. But I know he was saying the different type of things that we had to protect ourselves, far as.
There was 4 steps in protecting ourselves.
The federal government has came up with 4 steps to end HIV in the state of New Jersey.
The 4 steps.
Yeah. So at the next one, we'll give them the 4 steps. There.
Okay.
That'll be a continuation.
Okay.
And we'll learn about the 4 steps.
And it's good to have other people there because I did not catch that part. And you know what, ladies and
a lot of
gentlemen?
information.
Yes, this is a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come back onto this topic and bring it back to you in the next 2 weeks because next week we got something special for you. Mm-hmm. I ain't even going to tell you what it is. We're just going to drop it on you. Drop it on you real heavy. Because do you care about your self-care? Yeah. All right.